Hey everyone, well, happy Friday, and to anyone out there observing, Eid Mubarak. And I just want to give you all an update on everything that is going down here in Washington, D.C., all the tea and how sweet it is. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But in all seriousness, I want to just break down a little bit why this huge blow up and breakup between Elon Musk and Donald Trump is so significant. And that is because it has significant implications not only for politics here in Washington, D.C. and across the country, but also for Donald Trump's policy agenda, including his ability to get his big, terrible abomination of a bill finished in the Senate. So let's break it down. First of all, as you all know, Elon Musk, of course, became first buddy after he gave Donald Trump almost $300 million for his campaign. And during his tweet storms this week, he indicated that he believes Donald Trump wouldn't even be president if it hadn't have been for him, and that Republicans wouldn't have a majority here in the House. Now, we don't know what exactly that means or how exactly Elon Musk was helping Donald Trump in the election, but we know that it's significant. And that's important not just for the election itself, but because, as we've seen over the last several months since Trump has been in office, one of the things that they've wielded for power here in Congress is holding the threat of primarying Republicans over the heads of my colleagues here in the House and the Senate. And so that has been a tool that they've used to actually get bills passed. So what happens if Musk and Trump break up? We don't know. We don't know how that will affect the politics of the GOP. But the other big issue is that part of this whole breakup has been an explosion over the reconciliation bill. And it's very clear that Elon Musk is very, very opposed to it. He has been tweeting for days about it. And among the issues that he is really pissed off about is the way in which it blows a hole through the debt. We know that it's got at least $2.5 trillion in deficit spending, and it raises the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. So obviously, this is a big issue for Musk. And now many of our GOP colleagues are suddenly realizing they may not have read the bill completely and understood what was in it. But anyway, so that means now the bill is here in the Senate, and we don't know what's going to happen with it. They had planned originally to try to get this done by the July 4th recess. But now, the last 72 hours has been completely wild. It looks like somebody took Donald Trump's phone away. Probably good for democracy in the world. And things are sort of simmering down. But even my GOP colleagues in the House are in total disarray right now. They don't know what to make of this, heads or tails. And many of them are actually publicly now coming out against the bill and deficit spending. So a lot of chaos, but we can't get distracted by the chaos, because the reality remains that this bill is still live. It's still in front of the Senate. They're still trying to pass it. It would gut Medicaid, gut Medicare, gut food assistance, gut public education assistance programs, and it would make the largest deficit spend in American history. But in addition to that, many of you have been asking me to break down some really troubling provisions that got slipped in the dark of night. And one of those is a provision that got added in the judiciary markup. Now, there's language in there that basically says that any federal court cannot enforce a restraining order or an injunction essentially in cases involving the government or public interest because of structuring around bail. But this follows on an executive order that the Trump administration issued in March that is really intended to gut court enforcement of their orders. This would have wide-ranging implications for the administration, which we know is breaking the law daily. So we will be fighting that one. There's also another peculiar provision in this bill that includes $500 million for the Department of Commerce and preempts state and local law around AI and data privacy. And we had a hearing yesterday in the Oversight Committee, and one of the folks who's familiar with this language wouldn't tell us what it's for. But what we do know is that the Trump administration is currently contracting with data AI companies like Palantir and building out systems to understand, study, track, we're not quite sure, the American people. And so not only is this provision egregious because of its preemption of state and local laws, which is just a violation of federalism, it's also dangerous for the American people. So we'll be fighting that one. We think that some of these provisions that got snuck in will get taken out through the parliamentary procedure in the Senate, but we got to keep raising our voices. Now, in addition to that, you all know that the rescission package landed here this week, and Russell Vogt showed up to testify. I think it's noteworthy that that rescission package was sold as cutting a few grant programs here and there, but actually it's about gutting USAID, the State Department, UN commitments, the World Health Organization, billions of dollars in funding for foreign aid, and zeroing out the funding for PBS and NPR. So this is part of that continued attack on foreign affairs and on media that the administration has been carrying out. And finally, related to all of that, of course, Donald Trump signed another egregious travel ban, which probably will be found to be illegal once again, but is very clearly targeting countries that are in crisis right now, especially humanitarian crises. So much difficult and challenging news every week, but we are on the front lines fighting. But we also don't want to lose sight of the good stuff that is happening as well. So this week we celebrated many of the big wins that we submitted for the budget process, and we wanted to make sure that we shared that with all of you. And some of you may know this already, but we are actually preparing to participate in COP this year, which is the 30th anniversary of the United States signing commitments with the rest of the world to address climate action across the world. So I've been involved in getting ready with a number of my colleagues. We also celebrated the Roadrunner Food Bank came and testified at a hearing that Senator Lujan called to talk about SNAP benefits and their importance for our low-income families. We celebrated women in leadership, and the Progressive Caucus had their annual retreat, and we are working on an agenda that not only we can fight for, but is something that all of us can believe in. So lots going on, all fronts. We're in the fight. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys on the other side. See you.